First
he just
leg, Michael
needs
to throw
7
first. Game on.
good legs, although he's only got one actual fully functioning leg on his body at the moment.
78.
First to 7 in these semi-finals, the extended format on the European Tour. Anybody can play through the pain barrier. It's Steve West, because until last year, he had so many hip problems that he was constantly in pain when he was playing.
180.
Well, after his 6-2 win over Johnny Clayton in the quarter-finals, Michael van Gerwen said he needs to play better. He admitted he may have been hampered by the fact that he had a long break in between matches today. He was involved in the first match of the afternoon session against Andy Bolton at just shortly after 1 o'clock, and then he had to wait over 6 hours to take part in his quarter-final match against Clayton. But he's not had so long to wait now, and maybe, just maybe, there's the argument here that Michael van Gerwen has a little bit more momentum behind him. Maybe not so disruptive a programme.
108.
Stevie nearly kicking things off with a 144 check out for a 12-darter. Nice and high this
100.
one. Leave himself tops if he's allowed back to the board, which he is
not.
not.
The first leg, Michael van Gerwen. Second leg, Steve to throw first. Game on.
Michael van Gerwen comes into this with a tournament average of 103. Dragged down by that paltry 97 against Johnny Clayton.
140.
Does not look like he's going to threaten that Euro Tour title that he won in Germany earlier this year. That was the European Darts Grand Prix in Sindelfingen, which he called his best ever tournament win. 110 averages right the way through the quarter semis and the final. Tournament average around about the 107 mark. But he is obviously the man to beat. The #1 seed and 3 guys who had to come through qualifiers to get here. Steve West had to see off Colin Osborne and Simon Preston in a leisure centre in the north of England just for the right to play in this tournament.
99. Stevie require 121. '81.
Again, he leaves himself tops, but this time Michael van Gerwen is not in a position to deny him a go at it.
140. Stevie require 40. Game shot on the second leg, Steve West. Michael,
well, just a little bit of pressure there for Steve West, going to the final dart on double 10.
140.
He has only made 1 final in his PDC career, stretching back to 2012, Steve West. That final was a couple of years ago.
125.
It was in Barnsley at the Metrodome, and it was against this man.
140.
And he led 5-4 in that match as well. He was within touching distance of that first PDC title.
Yeah, 110 checkout is what stood before Steve West in the last leg decider. First dart in the 5, chance evaporated. MVG went out and claimed the £10,000 prize.
91.
But he was close. He was agonisingly close, Steve West. He has not made a final since. It's been more than a year since he made a semi-final. This is his first in 14 months.
140. Michael 130.
And last year on the European Tour, and this year, his best was a run to the 3rd round. He made the 3rd round at the European Darts Grand Prix. And he also made the 3rd round of the German Darts Grand Prix earlier this year as well. But that has been the extent of it for Steve West. So this is
16.
Much more like it for Steve West, much better. And a terrific opportunity for him.
8.
And this is also a terrific opportunity for him as well. 76 for a break of throw and a 2-1 lead. Back upstairs to tops. And this time he finds it. Didn't find it in the first leg or in the second leg when he levelled things up, but he finds it there for 2-1.
Leg Steve to throw first. Game on.
Well, we have a game on. We have seen players crumble before the might of Van Gerwen in these situations. But Steve West, the early signs are good.
And we mentioned it earlier how the extended format in the semi-finals have bailed out Van Gerwen on a couple of occasions this year. Or more than a couple of occasions, actually. But I suspect, or you wonder, just wonder, if he finds himself in a spot of bother later on, will he have the capabilities
59.
to fight back? Van Gerwen will look to get himself back on course ASAP here.
58.
Steve West over the last few months has made a big thing about working on the mental side of the game, working on his resilience, his fortitude, his ability to shake off disappointment.
60.
You wouldn't know it from the way he reacts sometimes on stage. He acts like he's the unluckiest man in the world, but it's how you respond from that. And we've seen it a number of times this weekend already where he has suffered a disappointment and then he's found a great visit to follow it. He is going to have to use all of that against Van Gerwen if he is going to beat him for the first time in his career in competitive darts. 10 times they've played. All been won by the Dutchman.
138.
This is their first meeting of 2018. 3 encounters last year. They've never met in Europe before either.
Yeah, well, the 3 encounters last year, West didn't get more than 2 legs. Well, he's 2 visits away from better in that.
They have actually met in Europe, I should say, but not on the European tour in its current guise since 2012. Anyway, Van Gerwen looking at 1-2-4 and still
63.
will be looking
50.
at 61 if he gets the opportunity. Steve West, 50. Tops again, trying his hand upstairs once more.
10. Michael, you require 61.
And this time it's not to be.
$52.
Well. 3 darts missed in the previous leg.
He's on the fourth
A
leg.
couple
Steve
missed
West.
in this one.
Michael
And Van
to
Gerwen
Rover.
finds himself 2 behind.
140.
And off to a flyer here.
139. $139. 60.
Well, Steve West mustn't get too despondent if things don't go his way all the time, especially on the Van Gerwen throw. He has the break. As long as he, satisfies his side of the equation on his throw.
Well, he did
Easier said than done, obviously.
Well, he did that
Gerwen.
against Rob Cross, though, didn't he? Because Rob Cross, another opponent he had never beaten.
56. Michael,
He averaged 10
124.
points less than Rob Cross in that game. But Steve West
56.
put in 6 legs, good enough to win them. And all right, some of the legs that Rob Cross won, he won them by 200-300 points. But it didn't matter. Damages your average, but as long as you get, well, in this case, to 7 legs. And he's already got 3 on the board. And he's nearly tripped over the hockey. Electing not to go for the bullseye, Michael Van Gerwen.
Yes, some might have suggested that was a chance just to inject a little pace, a little energy into proceedings. But Van Gerwen erring on the side of caution there
84. Michael,
to leave himself
132.
double 16. Now, he has struggled with doubles in the last 2 legs, and he's not found double 16 either. He's not found double 8. Can he find double 4? Yes, he can.
Leg, Michael Van Gerwen.
And after 7 missed darts at double,
Sixth leg,
Michael Van
Steve,
Gerwen
you
finds
throw first.
double 4 for
Game
3-2.
Well, look, Steve West did this in his game against Darren Webster, where he put in a good last leg to win
140.
it. But in the penultimate leg of the match, he kind of gave up and just...
140.
He ended up busting a score of 90 because he thought, oh, well, I'm going to lose the leg now. And I don't agree with that. I think it's a poor plan.
140.
And he seemed to have given up in that leg there. And Michael Van Gerwen, he is missing doubles. You have to give yourself every opportunity, even if it's going to be snatched away from you.
109. 140.
And this is what Van Gerwen can do. 140, 180, and all of a sudden,
100.
Steve West is looking a little bit jittery. He's down to 121. What has Van Gerwen got in response?
91. Stevie require 121.
Treble 17. And he's relying
57.
on Van
Michael require
Gerwen missing.
90.
But he has been missing the doubles. But
He's
not
on the sixth
that
leg,
one.
Michael
11
Van Gerwen.
darter from MVG.
7th leg, Michael to throw first. Game on. $140.
Just a bit of aggression there from Michael Van Gerwen.
$80.
Well, the first two darts, a carbon copy of his first visit in this leg, and this time he backs it up with a third treble. And already he's looking good here for a 4-3 lead. It would mean that Van Gerwen leads for the first
84.
time in this match as well. Oh, sorry, he took the opener, didn't he? So, well, but since then, would be 3 legs on the bounce for Van Gerwen.
134.
Well, very possibly back-to-back 11 darters from Michael Van Gerwen. It's the kind of stuff. And here we
97. Michael require 47.
Steve West sort of giving up in this leg, and yes, he is a long way back. But if Van Gerwen does keep missing doubles,
You've shown the 7th
you've
leg.
got to
Michael
keep
Van
giving
Gerwen.
yourself the best opportunity.
Get yourself in the frame, get yourself in position to make a challenge just in case the opportunity arises. But that is 3 legs on the bounce for Michael Van Gerwen. It's 4-3.
You know, he went into overdrive against Vincent van der Voort when he really needed to, didn't he? Because Vincent looked like he had his best mate
58.
and was going to produce a shock victory and end Van Gerwen's hopes of a 3rd Gibraltar Darts Trophy title. But back-to-back 11 darters for MVG in that game. Helped him come from behind to win it 6-4. Since then, it's been untroubled. 6-2 victories against Andy Bolton and Johnny Clayton, even if it hasn't been the high-octane 110 averages that we know he's capable of. He's capable of a lot more. 123.4, the world record televised average that Michael Van Gerwen holds, and he nearly battered that in the Premier League final against
60.
Michael Smith.
But for that double 18. Keep on harking back to that double 18 today, don't we?
100.
Won't be talking about it anymore in terms of Rob Cross, because Steve West ended his campaign here. And these two playing at pretty much their tournament averages. Steve West
60.
ran about the 93. Michael Van Gerwen ran about the 103. Not to say that a 93 can't beat 103.
$93. Michael, you require 81.
Well, at least this time West is in position just in case. But he's
short in the 8th leg.
another accomplished takeout from Michael Van Gerwen. Good variation around the board there. Great movement around the board as well. Very fluid once more.
$190.
An 11 darter, 12 darter and 15 darter to turn a 3-2 deficit into a 5-3 lead.
Yeah, and a
45.
4th maximum for Michael Van Gerwen. Steve West, who hits a lot of maximums, is yet to hit one in this semi-final. And unless he starts going
140.
berserk and battering in a few, then you feel there is only one outcome in this one.
Well, that makes it 14 for the weekend. His first of this match. For Steve West, bang on cue.
135.
He acknowledges the crowd. But Van Gerwen still in a very formidable position here. Even more so now.
26.
Oh, well, he gave up with that last dart as well. That was a very, very lackadaisical final dart from Steve West. And
He's
okay,
got a
Michael Van
knife
Gerwen
leg.
has
Michael Van
taken that
Gerwen.
out anyway, but that's just another indication, perhaps, of Steve West's mindset, which we've talked about earlier.
10th leg, Steve to throw first. Game on.
Van Gerwen just a few moments ago, was 3-1 down in this semi-final, and in the blink of an eye, 5 legs have been rattled off by the best player in the world. And Steve West is starting to find the maximums. But I don't think it's going to be enough. This would be an astonishing comeback if Steve West can.
$140.
171?
171.
Why not? And my money would be on Van Gerwen firing in a ton here.
100.
And he may hit a treble 20 with his first or second dart, and I bet you the last one is just in a fat 20. Oh, well, now he will try and arrow it in there.
60.
But he's unable to do it. You can see the frustration. He just loves leaving it. He wants to take it out.
Just a little statement of intent from Michael Van Gerwen, and Steve West has strayed the wrong side there as well.
49. 93. Stevie requires 32.
Stay alive for a little
He's
while
got a
longer.
template,
13 darter from Simply the West.
Michael to throw first. Game on.
Well, a break here for 6-5, a hold of throw for 6-all, and then
119.
who knows?
Simple when you say it, isn't it?
It did look like a bit of a chasm was opening up, but it's not that much of a difference when you boil it all down. That's what Steve West needs to just stay focused on for now.
60.
Well, you can see the match averages. Just a shade over the tournament averages for the pair of these two. But still, fully 10 points between them. And particularly the first 9, that means that Van Gerwen's leaving a finish after 3 visits and Steve West is not. Finishing has been good from Steve West over the course of the weekend, but it's been pretty good from MVG as well.
$85.
Potentially 6 darts away. Potentially 5 darts away.
Oh, look at that. Just look at that from Michael Van Gerwen. Catching up on Steve West on the 180s count as well. And Steve West is just unable to register anything significant here. And again, the final dart was very loose, wasn't it? But there you go, 243 away. Van Gerwen is tops away here. And Michael Van Gerwen comes through. Despite the fact he found himself 3-1 down, he quickly turned it around. A string of very, very impressive legs. An 11 darter, 12 darter, 15 darter, another 11 darter gave him that all-important cushion. And even though Steve West did manage to register another leg on the board late on, Michael Van Gerwen never really looked troubled in the closing stages of that one.